everyone. Welcome to Revival Fire Online. I'm Apostle Marsha Pedro, and I just want to encourage you to sit back, relax, and hear what God is saying to you this evening. If you are on Facebook, you can go ahead and like and share the message. If you are on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, and we upload information. We upload new content every single week. This week I'm continuing in the same, I will for the rest of the year, preparing us for the new season of 2024. 2023, as I would have told you and I would have spoken a lot, was a year for taking new territory and encouraged you in taking new territory. But 2024 is the year where we will build. 2024 is the year for more. And it's not just about taking territory, because taking territory is like buying land. You just buy land, and there are many people, they are so consumed in a conquest for new land, or for land, to just buy property, and they get so consumed that there is no vision, there is no plan, and they do not build on the land or plant on the land or occupy. Part of taking territory is occupying the land. Part of building kingdom is occupying the land. So this week I'm continuing with the messages that will prepare you for the next season or your next chronological year. Last week I spoke about perspective and the way we see a thing. So if you missed that, you can go in my last video. You can get that perspective, the way we see a thing. This week I will continue in the same vein, but I'm going to speak about the way we speak things, the way we speak things, the way we communicate. So that's why I'm saying communication. Communication is so very important. And the term, the theme God gave me, He said, say it to slay it. And there are many things in our lives we can slay many giants. We can slay many things in our lives. We can accomplish many things if we could just repeat to ourselves what we see, what we know, and what God is saying in heaven to us. So in the next season, our communication will be very, very important. And it's something that I've realized in this season, that communication has been halted, communication has been thwarted, and again, there's always this end of days plan for the enemy to deceive. And what's the first step in getting through to that deception? It's isolation. And what happens when we isolate? We do not communicate. So we must be able to say the right things to the right people at the right time, and that's really, really important, especially in the next season. The right things to the right people at the right time. I've often ministered to people the heart of God. I've often ministered to people the heart of God, prophesied to them about their own lives. And many times when I would minister to them, they would weep. And I'm like, okay, why are you crying? The first time I ministered and people started crying, I got really, really concerned. And I said, God, what did I do? And in my earlier years, I really would have been surprised at people's reactions to the tears. Until one day, God stopped me and He said, people are not accustomed to hearing positive language because people are not accustomed to saying positive things. And that's something I want you to sink in. I want to sink in. People are not accustomed to hearing positive language. I went to Guatemala the second year I went to Guatemala, maybe the second or third. The second year I went to Guatemala, there was hail. I had never seen hail in my entire life. So every time subsequent to that hail episode, every time I would hear some little poundings on the galvanized, on the rooftops, I would think it's hail, and I would look outside because I was not accustomed to hearing hail in my Caribbean country. And it had gotten so bad that I got to the point every year I went, I said, God, can I see hail? Can I see the hail falling? And every year there was hail, and there was this one year when there was hail, and I really caught it, and I was in a meeting, so I couldn't just run outside. And by the time the meeting was done, the hail, so too was the hail. But I did see the hailstone. But the thing is, I was not accustomed to the noises. So sometimes there were cats on the roof, and I thought it was hail. Sometimes people were passing in the little mopeds, and I thought it was hail. So people are not accustomed to hearing positive language because they're not accustomed to speaking positive things. You know, for the giants in the land in the next season that we have to reconstruct, that we would have to face for those giants, because again, in this year we've taken territory, but as we continue to take territory, there were people who were illegally occupying, there were things that were illegally occupying the land or territory or sphere of influence, even our minds. And what we need to do is we would have to reconstruct our atmosphere with the words we speak. And that is something that is key to practicing and starting in 2023 and continuing strong in 2024. We will have to reconstruct our atmosphere with the words that we speak. We will have to literally say it. We will literally have to say it before we slay it. We will literally have to say something to that giant before that giant is taken down. So before I continue, I want to address another key area to master if we're going to have victory in the next season, and that's communication. Communication is the process of sending and receiving messages through verbal or non-verbal means. But today I will focus on the verbal means. And it includes your speech, your oral communication, your writing, your drawings, your signs, signals, communication. And this is the nice part of the meaning that the dictionary gave that I like. Communication is said to be the creation and exchange of meaning. The creation and exchange of meaning of a thing. You know, so I want to help you and encourage you to develop a communication web, a communication network, that communication, that set of people that you communicate with in the next season at different levels. And this is something that as God spoke it, I wrote it, and I'm like, okay, God, I really hope I have these people, and I think I do, but I really think that I have, as I shift the season, that I'm able to carry along with me in easy succession, or with easy transition. That's the word. With ease of transition, I'm able to carry over the different jobs and the different roles and functions. So in the dictionary's meaning, that was the dictionary's meaning. So here are some dynamics of communication that we need to cultivate and practice in the next season. This is really important. I hope you always come on and take notes, or go back and take notes, because it's really, really important. Your communication network will be the sum total of your net worth. Your communication network will be the sum total of your net worth. And before you go off, let me explain to you. I know that we've moved into the era of digital, or everything. There are e-forms, e-documents, e-people. There's everything, and all businesses need a good communication system to survive. All businesses. I do not care if you are an analog business. I don't care if you're a business, you're just a vendor selling oysters. If you're just selling whatever, you need someone to come and do a review. If you're someone who's just selling at the side of the street and you have a good product, you should get one of those people to do a review. You will send your sales up, but be prepared for the influx of customers. That's just a tip. But whether you are whatever, you need a good communication. You need a good communication system. Whether you are receiving business or you're making restock orders, we need a good communication network. So too in the next season, we need to develop that network of trusted people. It's really important. Remember, I spoke about the end time plan of the enemy to deceive, and we've been hearing that since COVID-19. Everything that can be shaken will be shaken, and there's a spirit of deception, and all the other things. You need to develop that network of trusted people that we can say it in order to slay it. We need to develop those people that we can say things to in order to conquer things. I will just share with you a list of the rules that I have in my life, and some I will add on in the next year, of that communication network. So I'm helping you build a very basic but critical but essential communication network. Those people you speak with, and those people you communicate with, and those people who help you, do different things. But you must be able to have that group or that web of people. I call them different. I have them in names. I gave them names as the Lord gave me. So let me give you the names as the Lord gave me. The first person I have here on my list is the sage. In your communication network, you need a sage. Now, I'm not speaking about the plant. I'm not going Apostle Marsha. It's not going New Age on you. No. Yes, sage is an aromatic plant, but sage is also used to describe people who are wise and have a reputation of making good decisions. That's really important. We need to go to someone who is wise and has a reputation of making good decisions. This person will listen to your issues. They will advise based on their life's journey. I always tell people, you do not know me until you know my testimony. Don't say I love you, Apostle. You don't know me. Don't say I love you, Marsha. You don't know me unless God shows you my testimony or you've heard my testimony. You don't know my life's journey. If you say you know me and you don't know my life's journey, you don't know me. And the sage is a person who will listen to your issues. They are good at listening, and they will advise based on their life's journeys. Listen, if I am going to someone, I always say, if I'm going to someone who has never had problems with whatever problem I have, who's never treated with whatever problem I've treated with, I'm not going to you for a solution. If you don't have case studies and you don't have a history of healing people with broken fingernails or broken teeth, then I'm not coming to you, because you don't have a history. It's important that we have people who have been there to tell us how to respond. It's important. We have people who've been there to tell us how to respond. I want to remind you of the young prophet Samuel. And I'm not going to quote many scriptures in this session, but I am going to quote the word of God, and you can go on to the Bible and you can read it. So I want to remind you of the young prophet Samuel, and he was under the tutelage of Eli, and Eli told him how to respond to the voice of God. Eli told Samuel how to respond to the voice of God. So you need a sage in your life. So get a sage, not the thing, but the person. The confidant. And this confidant is that person who is versed in the art of listening. The sage would listen and give advice. The confidant is versed in the art of listening. But the thing is, the confidant will not judge you. It's important that if you're going through something, or if you're going to do something, or if you're going into something, you have someone who will not judge you, because we're taking more territory, but we are building. Sometimes when we're building, we run out of materials. Sometimes when we're building, we run out of working capital. Sometimes when we're building, we lose the vision. We do not need someone to judge us. Your confidant will not judge you. Please do not expect a confidant to give you any advice, because they are not necessarily more experienced than you are. Please don't expect them to give you any substantial advice because they are not necessarily more experienced than you are. They are an avenue for you to express yourself and feel free. That's what your confidant does. Don't beat up on them when they can't, when they don't take your side. Don't beat up on them when they can't say, okay, well, you ran out of this material, but you can use aluminium instead of iron. I don't know what. So don't get advice from them. You don't get advice. They just listen to you. I've noticed that many of us tend to bottle up much of about what's going on in our lives, and the enemy uses it to taunt us. Many of us, we tend to bottle up what's going on inside of us. We don't speak, we don't say it. And if we are to move forward in the next season, we need to say things, we need to discuss things, we need to share things, because the enemy is going to taunt us. Safe spaces and confidence are necessary so that we can let it out. I've noticed that when I speak out some things, and this is something that's really important. I have this one friend, and I call and I say, well, I'm going to make potato salad, for instance. I'm going to make potato salad. So I'm going to put the potatoes to boil, and then I will just get the celery, and then as I'm speaking it out, I realize, hey, I have no celery. I'm just giving you a basic example of something. There are more deeper things. You may say something like, I took the taxi, and when I took the taxi, I just closed the door because I needed to make sure it was closed. And when you say out something, you realize, but wait, I didn't say good afternoon. Sometimes when we speak things out, I notice when I speak out some things, I hear myself and I'm able to get clarity in thought. So sometimes when I speak it out, I'm able to hear myself and I'm able to get clarity in thought. So if the confidant was someone who would judge you, then he would say, but you need to get celery. Aren't you responsible? Where will you get celery? Potato salad is going to be horrible without celery. Or didn't you say good afternoon? Didn't your parents teach you when you get into the taxi? You say good afternoon, so good afternoon, madam. No, your confidant will just listen to you unless it's something really extreme or moral. Your confidant will not judge you. So you need the sage, that wise person. You need that person who you can talk to, the confidant. The next person that you need that is really important is the wingman. The wingman. Yes, I said it. The wingman. Your vision was not given for you to execute alone. Your vision was not given for you to execute alone. It was given for you to execute with community for community. It was given for you to execute with community. So we are to do the thing with the community. And I think I've spoken so much of community, about community, creating community, taking territory with community. And I live community. It's become such a part of my life that I realize and I notice it. My vision was given to execute with the community. So I can never do this alone. You see me sitting here. It's just, there are so many people this night because there are other things that would be, that we do. But there are so many people who have to come put things in place. They need to get the office clean. They need to, they do things. There are so many people. So I am executing with community and I'm executing for community. And let me share this. I grew in Christianity with many spiritual deficiencies. I didn't get certain teachings. I got too many of a certain teaching. And I believe that God wanted to teach me how to depend on Him, to learn from Him. And as a result, I would have had sort of an isolated, God teaching me and me learning, because as I would seek different places to get, the nourishment I needed for the call on my life and for my walk with God, it just wasn't there, And although I grew with spiritual deficiencies, I tried to support the lives of those around me. I try to support those around me and not have them have deficiencies. That's why I do these teachings. That's why I do these videos. That's why I do different things, even in the church or in the marketplace. Whenever I go out, I do different things because I don't want others to go through what I've gone through. The wingman is the person who helps or supports your vision. Your wingman is the person who helps or supports your vision. This week, God gave me a vision of small hubs of women coming together to pray and to seek His face. And I mean, I believe God was creating me to do this from the day I was saved, or even maybe this was God's plan all along. I'd create a Marsha, and that Marsha would grow up and she'd get saved. And when she gets saved, she would have such a passion and a hunger for intimacy and prayer, and in this day, that Marsha would say this. So, God gave me a vision of small hubs of women coming together to pray and seek His face. And I had that vision. I felt as if it was always inside of me, but I never expressed it. I just messaged one of my wing people, and they were on it. I just told that person, hey, this is what I see. What do you think? Yeah, let's do it. They were on it. I did nothing else after. We agreed on the names of some people. We agreed on, whatever we would do. They were sending out invitations. They were making arrangements. They were preparing. They were doing everything for me so that I can execute the vision in my heart. That's what a wingman does. There will be seasons when you will be another person's support. And in those seasons, I encourage you to be resilient and humble. Because in your season, you will reap the seeds that you've invested in others. And that's what I have done. I am reaping the seeds that I've invested in the ministry of others. So we have the sage, we have the confidant, and the last person I have here is the person that everyone wants to be, but no one wants to pay the price for being, the mentee. The mentee. This is a person who comes along and says, I want you to teach me, and I'm willing to go through the process. I want you to teach me, and I'm willing to go through the process. The mentee is not here to teach you. Remember that. The mentee is not going to teach you. And there are some mentees who think we can be equals because, she needs some fashion advice and I need some spiritual guidance. I need to be a prophet so I can give her fashion, although I didn't ask you for it. That sometimes the mentees think that they are there, Also, sometimes the mentor think, they think, the mentee is there, and this person can be my confidant. No, your mentee is not your confidant. Your mentee is the person who you are going to pour into. The mentee is not there to teach you. However, if you are willing, they can learn and be a better version of you. However, if they are willing, that is, if they are willing, they can learn and be a better version of you. You sow seeds of wisdom, patience, and intercession into the mentee. Wisdom, patience, intercession into the mentee. They are looking at how you handle conflict. That's something, my husband is an excellent mentor. He's done several mentorships. And I think he is a really good example, a really good blueprint of a mentee and a man of God, a good spiritual father, a good apostle. And they sit and they talk to him, and they look at how he handles conflict. They look at how he does the ministry. They look at so many things. So they are looking at how you handle conflict. The mentees, they are waiting after a long day with many questions. I see them all. They are waiting with many questions. And they will be the continuation of your legacy and possibly the inheritor of your mantle, like Elisha to Elijah. So that's the mentee. So the people that we need in this communication network, in this web, is the sage. We need the sage, we need the confidant, we need the wingman, and we need the mentee. These are important. These people are really, really important. So now that we have understood our communication network, we have to understand the importance of our words when we communicate. And that's something I've been more conscious of in recent times, both with myself and with others. And it's because God is shifting the dynamics. God is shifting our season. God is shifting our atmosphere, and we need to shift with it. So why is your word content important? And especially in the season where we are going into. Why is our word content so important? And I'll just give you a few examples of what your words do and why you need your words to be very, very, very specific. You need your words to be very articulate and very decisive. You need to be very decisive about your words, and you need to know the words that you're using in this season as we go into the season and we transition. The first thing that words do, words create. That's really important for us to remember. In the book of Genesis, we see the story of creation. God said, "Let there be," and there was nothing, and there was everything, and he took his time and he created. We see the story of creation as God made the earth. He simply spoke and everything was set into being. Everything. And from time to time we see the story, we see the children, they get the videos, and they see the story, and there must in every cartoon or every comic there must be an apple and a snake in the Garden of Eden. There must be. But words create. He simply spoke and everything was set into being. In the next season, your words will set the foundation for the formation of your vision. In the next season, listen, I'm telling you what I literally live. I live in this place. In your next season, your words, let me get that back. In the next season, your words will set the foundation for the formation of your vision. Your vision needs to be formed. God saw something. He had to speak something. And when he spoke it, it was. When he said flower, it looked like flower to him. And it manifested as flower. That's what it was. Out of that foundation, that word, we got tulips and roses and chrysanthemums and hibiscus and bougainvilleas and all the other. But his word spoke. There was formation and there was a foundational thing. The name of the thing, flower. It is and will be created as you say it. It is and will be created as you say it. It will be overcome as you say it. You will overcome things as you say it. Please know that Jesus, God created the heavens and the earth. We know he used words. Jesus did many creative miracles. People's hands got healed. He said, go home, woman, your daughter is healed. He said, go do this. And there were many created by just saying things. I believe just by saying things, he said it, they did it, or he said it and it happened. Jesus used the same way he used words to build things and to heal things, he also used words to kill the tree that didn't seem to produce. Are you using words to kill the dream that you feel will not be manifested? And that's something I'm very, very, very concerned about in this season. Are you using words to kill the dream that you feel will not be manifested? I don't deny facts. I don't deny the fact that it's 2023 and you're not yet married. I don't deny that. I don't deny the fact that it's 2023 and you don't yet have a home. You don't yet have that promised baby. You don't yet have that vehicle. But I am saying to you, are you using your words to kill that dream? Are you using your words to kill that because you are not seeing the fruit? Are you using words to curse the process to the promotion? That's something that I really, really beg my people, don't do. And understand why I say it, don't do it. Are you using words to curse the process to the promotion? There's always a process to the promotion. And as I said out sometime, God does not promote what he does not prune. So pruning is part of your process to your promotion. Are you using words to curse the pruning shears? Are using words to curse the shovel that is being used to pull up the tears that is growing with the wheat? Are you using words to bring warfare when all God is saying is to worship? Are you using words to bring warfare when all God is saying worship? So words create. Words create. Another thing that words do, words shift. Words shift. Have you ever noticed how well you can convince people to do something? You know, my sister, she's really good at this. She would say, I just feel like having such and such a delicacy or such a food. And I would say, okay. And then she would say, well, let me just pass and get one. You sure you don't want one? I would say, no, I don't want one. And she would say, well, let me just get you one. I said, no, I do not need one. And then by the time we get to that location, I'm eating one. Have you ever noticed how well you can convince people to do something that they were not sure they wanted to do? You can, because words shift. Words shift perception, words shift opinions. Just look at what happens in the flea markets or the sales. You go with the intention of just looking. What are you doing? You're getting through? They say to you, are you getting through, ma'am? Yes, I am. I'm just looking. And then they come over to you. Perhaps you could need this handbag. You're wearing a red shirt. Maybe a denim handbag or a navy or even a red. There's a lovely red or pink handbag. And you go with the intention of just buying one item or no item, and you come away with many items. The reason that you purchase is more likely than not because you heard the words of the salesperson and your decision shifted. Words shift. Another thing about words is words bring favor. Words bring favor. The right choice of words can bring you into an audience with kings, and the wrong set of words can cause you to go to jail. And you need to be mindful of that. Words bring favor. Look at that Queen Esther when she went before the king. Look at when she wanted his attention, even in other things. Look at her words. And, you know, even when she was, before she went to the king, she said, if I perish, I perish. But her words were very tasteful. Words bring favor or words can bring condemnation. Which words do you use? Words cause alignment. Words cause alignment. You know, I started to examine the book of Ruth, and I looked at the very decisive and the very confident language of Ruth when she was interacting with Naomi. You know, we heard of Ruth like in the third person. There was a woman, you know, just a woman, and her name was Ruth, and she was married. And but then the story shifts, and this woman named Ruth, she has a voice, and I want you to really look at that. Ruth was she could have been anyone. She was not a Jew. She was a Moabite. She was from the slums of Moab, I say. You know, she was from. She had a reputation. She had her country had a reputation. Let me say that. But Ruth's conversation, even in her interaction with, first her words to Naomi is like, I'm leaving these people. I'm leaving these people. And when she said that, she caused Naomi to pay attention, and she said, your God will be my God, and your people will be my people. And I believe that opened the door for Ruth's destiny for the lineage of Jesus, because she said, your God will be my God, your people will be my people, I am one of you now. So Ruth was that person, and Ruth's words cause alignment to her destiny. You know, she spoke as a woman who knew what she wanted, and it was redemption. It was redemption. Hey, I was born in this place. Hey, I was born with this mark. Hey, my father and these other people, Lot and all of they made these not Lot actually they made all these mistakes. You know, the forefathers and all of them, and I just got tagged with them, but I want to be redeemed. Yes, my husband died. Ruth could have been depressed. She could have said, okay, well, my name is already Moab. There's just no worth in me. There's nothing in me. You know, no one's going to want me. My husband died. There's nothing. No, she did not. She wanted redemption, and her language aligned with her purpose, what she wanted. Your words must align with what you want. What do you want? What do you want? She wanted to be free from a life of being in the moral slum of Moab. She wanted a change in scenery. If you want a change in scenery, you're not going to come all depressed and all. No, you want a change in scenery, and you start dreaming, you start planning, you start speaking, you start behaving. She knew that she was created for more, and she spoke it into her destiny. Words cause alignment. And the last thing I have here about words and what they do, words accelerate your prophetic vision. Words accelerate your prophetic vision. You know, it's very important that you listen to the right prophetic voices. But it's also very important that you are a pure prophetic voice and you have the right prophetic self-talk. You must have the right prophetic. Listen, you can sit, and as you hear the voice of God, you prophesy to yourself. Marsha Pedro, if I hear the Lord saying to you, Marsha Pedro, that you were called to walk in purity and love. I hear the Lord saying that you were called to bring forth a generation of young men and young women into that place of integrity, into that place of passion and relentless pursuit. I prophesy to myself and accelerate my prophetic vision. Words accelerate your prophetic vision. It's very important that we are pure prophetic voices. It's very important that pure prophetic voices speak into our lives, but it's also very important that we have pure prophetic self-talk. That's important. You know, in 1 Kings, and we have the story. Marsha Pedro was not the example. Elijah was really supposed to be the example. 1 Kings, we have the story again with Elijah. And Elijah said, with the rain, Elijah had his great victory on Mount Carmel with, you know, everything and the prophets of Baal, and he just had this great showdown. And Elijah said unto Ahab, get thee up, eat and drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain. So Elijah heard something, and I believe he saw something. There is the sound of abundance of rain. That was in his prophetic vision. It was in his prophetic expression that he saw that much rain. So Ahab listened to him. Understand, he listened to Elijah's prophetic vision, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel, and he put his face between his knees, and he said to his servant, go up now, look towards the sea. And he went up and looked and said, there is nothing. Listen, there are some people who will come to you and say there is nothing. Unless God told you to work with them and teach them, you get away from those people. So this is the Elijah now. God called him to work with his servant and you know, to teach him. And he said, there is nothing. And he said, go again. 7 times. And it came to pass on the 7th time that he said, behold, there's a little cloud. So even the servant, he didn't understand your prophetic vision. And Elijah said, go. 7 times, go do it again, up to 7 times, just go. And what happened? I believe every time he said go, there was some more condensation. I believe every time he said go, there was some more. And his prophetic vision, that vision that he saw in the spirit of the abundance of rain, there was just an acceleration as the words were just building up. And it came to pass in the meanwhile that the heaven was black with clouds. So he just saw, you know, and the 7th time he said there's a little cloud. So Elijah's prophetic vision and the words that were spoken, they were now aligning, and eventually there was great rain. And in verse 46, and the hand of the Lord was on Elijah, and he gripped his loins and ran before Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. But the verse before was, the heaven was black with clouds and wind, and there was a great rain. The heavens were black with clouds, and there was wind, and there was a great rain. Elijah knew that what he saw, but he had to speak it into the atmosphere to cause a shift. Okay, let me do this before I do that. Are you speaking what you are seeing? Are you speaking what you are seeing? Listen, you don't need to go online and send stars, or you don't need to go to somewhere and say, hey, can you prophesy to me? Can you read my palm? Can you do that? All of those things are wrong, but no. You can say, God, show me me. God, show me Marsha. Show me Marsha. There are many times I come into the church, into the worship, and I am quiet. Why? Because God is showing me me. He is showing me me. God shows me me. I know that sounds funny, but that's okay. God shows me. It sounds like one of those people I listen to, Cheryl Porter, when they do their vocal exercises. When God shows me me, and I position myself into where he wants me to be, I can speak it into being, and then he can show me others. Perhaps, are you speaking what you are seeing? Perhaps if you speak what you see instead of how you feel, then there would be a shift in your atmosphere, and that would accelerate your rain season. Perhaps if you would speak what you see, I see the abundance of rain. I see miracles, signs, and wonders. And it's something that as I started off in the miraculous, I would touch someone and they would feel the presence of God, and they would get healed or become slain in the spirit, or whatever God wanted to do with them. They would cry or whatever. And then the season shifted when God said to me, he said, Marsha, say something. Say it. And I said, God, but I don't want to have all of myself in this. He said, say what you want to see. And of course, again, I was reading a great healing evangelist, a great healing apostle. And he said, you often have to say what you want to see. And God said to me, before I read him, but my confidence wasn't that high. But God said to me, he said, Marsha, say what you want to see. So I want to see limbs straightened out. I want to see stunted growth removed. I want to see decayed tooth restored. And I say what I want to see. And it happens. So if you would speak what you see instead of what you feel, then there would be a shift in our atmosphere that would accelerate into your rain season. Your language is very, very important. And this is just my final tip. It's not very long. How do we adjust our language to build in the new season? Because building is a whole language, materials, people, habits, strategies. They're a whole new dynamic. How do we adjust our language to build into new season? First thing you do, you get a picture. God is raising up a generation of seers, I don't know how you call it, but those people with that gift. And you get a picture. Even if you don't see pictures, you hear something, you know something, you have an imagination, you have an idea, you have a feeling. I was created to cook things and sell. You get a picture. When we see it as God sees it, we need to tap into God's blueprint for our lives. If we have that picture, we keep that picture. So that picture is stored in our memory. It's a thing that we will go back to and we will reconstruct, because the picture that I have of myself when I got saved at 20 is a different picture that I have of myself today at 45, but it's a picture that has been building and shifting and growing. But the one thing that remains certain is that there was a little girl who was kneeled before the Lord, crying and interceding. That picture has been built upon, broken down, colored, transformed, some 3D, some 5D. But that picture, the foundation is there. Get a picture. What's the picture that God is showing you? That picture is God's blueprint for our life. Create a habit of speaking about that picture. If it's God's picture, it's going to be something good. It's going to be something good. For he is good. Everything he created was good. He saw it. It was good. Create a habit of visiting that picture, fixing that picture, and speaking about that picture. That's how you speak positively. You see, when I can speak about the picture that my life is going to be, that develops a positive language and it builds. Then I can speak about pictures of the church God gave me, and the worship team, and the brothers and sisters, and the family of God, and those who are yet to come into the family of God, all of his creation. So we create a habit. After we create a habit, you form a pattern of the same positive speaking you see, the same way you speak of your life, you speak of the others. You speak of the lives of the others. You speak about their lives. So I see a young woman who's bent over, who's praying, and and God says, I will cause you to raise up those who will weep and mourn from the porch and the altar in intercession as my temple is restored, as my worship is restored, as intercession is restored. I would see that for myself. If I can see it for me, I form that pattern. I can go in the spirit and I'll see it for my brother and my sister. I will see the thing that God has called them to do. He may not have called them to do what I was called to do. He may call them to be a farmer. He may call them to be a pilot, whatever. I form that pattern of thinking, of seeking what he sees and saying what he sees. That's important. We need to seek what God sees and say what he sees. And when we seek and we say, we create. Yeah? And the last point I have about adjusting our language is have a check-back process. My check-back process is always Philippians 4:8. We need to have a check-back process. Make sure that the thing that we are saying builds, it doesn't break. Make sure that the thing we are saying nurtures, but it doesn't boast. Make sure that the thing that we are saying, it nourishes, but it doesn't compare. Make sure the things that we are saying are good things, positive things, and fruitful things. Say it and slay it. Slay those giants. See it and manifest it. So our communication in the next season will be really, really important. I hope you take the time over, the next couple of days. If you're looking on the replay, if you're looking on the weekend, you have a whole weekend to look at yourself, to see it as God sees it, and to say it and slay it. Until my next video, until my next broadcast, this is Apostle Marsha Pedro saying, live your life with passion. Live your life in pursuit of him.